What can a virtual assistant do for an interior designer? Well, before we answer that, I think we need to talk about why so many interior designers start looking for support in the first place. If I had to guess, most interior designers aren't overwhelmed by actual design work. You're probably overwhelmed by everything surrounding it: the vendor follow ups, the delivery tracking, the installation coordination, the client updates, the purchase orders, the marketing, the calendar, the 100 little things that have to happen before a project is considered complete. And the reality is that most of it still depends on you. You're the one checking on delays, following up with vendors, answering client questions, making sure products arrive when they're supposed to. And at some point, you realize you're spending more time managing the work than doing the work you actually love. And naturally, you might start thinking, I need a virtual assistant. But that's often where things get a little confusing. To be honest, the term virtual assistant doesn't actually tell you what someone does. It only tells you that they work remotely. Think about it this way. If someone told you they worked in an office, you wouldn't automatically know what their job was. They could work in accounting, marketing, operations, human resources. The same thing is true here. Just keep in mind that when you hear the term virtual assistant, it isn't really a job description. It doesn't tell you anything about someone's capabilities. It's just a way of describing where someone works. Now that we've got that covered, let's focus on the real question. What work is taking up your time? Because that's what tells you what you should be delegating. Let's be real. Delegation isn't always easy. I've been in the industry over 10 years, and I know that a lot of business owners are skeptical of support. Maybe they've heard stories about having to train someone constantly, read online that they have to keep correcting people's mistakes, redo work, answer endless questions, or maybe they've even experienced it themselves. However, it's crucial that you don't let those experiences make you believe that getting support or delegating is bad. Often the issue is a matching problem, or there's no real delegation plan in place. The idea that virtual support requires all this hand holding was created by companies pushing ultra low cost support to complete tasks without regard for achieving outcomes. But the right match doesn't look like that. It can include working with someone who takes ownership, makes recommendations, solves problems, and moves forward without every decision coming back to you. Another thing to mention is that virtual support looks different today than it did even a few years ago. Some tasks can be automated, some can be supported by AI, and some still require human judgment, human communication, human relationships, human follow through. The opportunity isn't deciding between people, AI, or automation. It's figuring out which work belongs to each. Because the most effective businesses usually aren't choosing one or the other. They're combining all three. So finally, what could support actually look like inside an interior design business? For some designers, it's administrative support. That's one of the most common reasons people hire virtual assistants, because proposals need to be formatted, vendor emails need responses, calendars need coordination, appointments need scheduling, and so on. For others, it's client experience. New inquiries need responses, clients need updates, someone needs to make sure communication doesn't disappear every time a project gets busy. For others, it's systems. Project information is scattered across inboxes, spreadsheets, notes, and project management tools. Nobody knows where anything stands unless they ask you. And then there's a type of support many designers don't realize can be delegated to virtual assistants: social media management, email marketing, tech stack optimization, purchase order tracking, vendor coordination, delivery monitoring, installation logistics, procurement support, and for some designers, it can even go further into the design work itself, such as interior styling support, creating mood boards, building client presentation decks, sourcing furniture finishes, and decor. Virtual support can do any of these things and more, but it is all about finding the right one. When the match is right, something shifts. You're not the one chasing every vendor anymore. You're not the one remembering every detail, every deadline, every loose end. You're not the person every project depends on to keep moving. You start designing again instead of just managing. You spend more time in your zone of genius and less time coordinating everyone else's work. Clients still get updates, projects still move forward, deadlines still get managed, but you're no longer the one carrying every moving piece in the business. And if you were operating at capacity before, you may even find yourself with the ability to take on additional projects without feeling overwhelmed. Because it's not just that tasks get done, it's that you're no longer the bottleneck. You're no longer the only person responsible for moving the work forward. And that creates something many business owners don't realize they've lost: capacity to think, capacity to create, capacity to lead, capacity to focus on the work only you can do. Because let's be real, you got into this to be a creative, a designer, not to spend your days chasing vendors, tracking deliveries, coordinating schedules, and everything else that comes with running a business. So the next time you ask, what can a virtual assistant do for an interior designer? Remember, that's not really the question here. The real question is, what work is taking up your time and who's the right fit to take it off your plate? If you're ready to delegate and want to find the right virtual support match for your interior design business, contact Imperative. We'll make it seamless.